In this video, you'll learn 9 things you need to do before you start selling on eBay. What's up guys, welcome to another video. My name is Sam and I'm Millionaire Mindset, and I provide value for you guys to help you grow and start your own online business. Today we're jumping back into eBay, the 9 things you need to do before you start selling on eBay. Without further ado, I'll get started with tip number 1. So the first thing you guys need to do is figure out how much you're willing to invest. So this is your time and your money. How much are you going to invest into this business? You need to be realistic with these numbers and really figure out what you're going to be able to dedicate. If you're working a full-time job or you have kids, you're not going to be able to put in 100 hours a week because it's just not realistic. And if you're not a super millionaire, you can't just say that you turn this into a $100,000 business by next month, because that's not possible if you don't have money to source products. And that's perfectly alright. This is a great business model for those who aren't really willing to invest a lot of money or don't have a lot of starting capital, because you can really start this business for little to no money, because a lot of the times in these categories you can get stuff for super cheap, whether you're shopping at garage sales or thrift stores. So we'll jump into that. So the first thing you need to do is just set aside how much time and money you're willing to invest and really be realistic. I recommend writing these down, figuring out a business model that works for you. That leads me into tip number 2. Find your niche, and you're going to want to figure out what you're going to sell. Maybe look around your house, see what you already have, find the topic you're knowledgeable about. I would recommend just dabbling in different categories if you don't know what to sell. For me, I usually do clothing because I've always enjoyed selling clothing and I've always been a consumer of clothing, so that's something I have knowledge about. So you're going to want to find something that you maybe have a passion for, you already have a hobby around, and you can build that into a business model. Alright, the next thing you need to do, tip number 3, is figure out the equipment and supplies that you're going to need. So as a clothing seller, I use a scale, I use poly bags and poly mailers, I use my laptop, and I use a Dymo printer. So you don't need a Dymo printer, you can just use a standard 8x11 LaserJet printer to help you out, but you're going to need some sort of basic supplies beyond your phone, and that'll really help you get a foot in the door here. I'll leave a link to some supplies I use. If you're selling clothing, you may need a hanging mannequin, probably 30 bucks on eBay, but not really too much that you need compared to other businesses. If you're thinking about a brick and mortar type business, you need a lot of supplies and equipment to really start a restaurant, for example. So it's nothing in comparison to that. That leads me into tip number 4. Are you going to be a hobby seller, or are you going to take this as a full-time business? Are you going to treat this like a business? And I recommend, even if you do only have a few hours to spend a week, to really not focus on being a hobby seller. You want to focus on being a business owner. So when people tell you what you do, you say you own a legitimate eBay business, you're running a legitimate company here, and that just gets you in the right mindset of how you're going to grow this business. You're going to learn how to understand your numbers, you're going to learn your business model, and you're really going to stay focused on improving your store, improving your processes, and refining everything you do to really be more efficient. So understand that this is a legitimate business. Even if you are running it on the side, I recommend just going in with that mindset right from the get-go, because it'll really set you apart from a lot of the other sellers. So that leads me into my next tip, is tip number 5. So you have to understand this business model. I know I briefly mentioned it in the last comment, but you have to understand what sort of business are you running. If you're running a clothing business, are you going to be holding on to those items for as long as possible to get top dollar, to get the market value? This is probably known as the slow dime approach. In this model, you're going to be able to maximize your profits, but at the same time, you have to really do some number crunching and see if that's worth it for you, because that's money that's being tied up. You're not able to reinvest that. So you have to understand what sort of business model is working. The other business model I see people going is what's called the quick nickel. So they'll probably be accepting lower offers, but at the same time they'll have that money right away and they'll be able to reinvest it into other products. So you have to figure out what exactly is going to work. This all sort of depends on what you're selling. So if you have $1 invested in something that you found at the Goodwill outlet, you're probably going to hold on to that because you don't need that dollar right away. But if you have something that you put in $100 for, perhaps you need that money pretty quickly, and you'll be willing to take a lower offer and lower your profits, but at the same time you'll have that 150 bucks or whatever you made off of it to reinvest in your business. So you have to think about what works for you. This all depends on what you're selling, obviously, but if you understand this from the get-go, you're going to be willing to accept offers, you're going to be holding out on better offers, and you'll just have a more understanding on what your business is like, and you'll have a better understanding of your numbers and your profits. So the next tip I have for you is tip number 6. So you have to have a good inventory system right from the start. So For me, when I first started my clothing business, I didn't have any bins, I didn't have any real system of storing. I didn't even take advantage of the custom label that they have. Is a feature on eBay where you can pretty much run your inventory system without having to do much other than putting in a number or a bin or the area that you're putting the item in. So you want to do this right from the start, otherwise if you're living with somebody, they may get pretty pissed off, because as many of you know, if you're already selling on eBay, you can really acquire a lot of inventory pretty quickly, and it's the initial process of eBay. You have to have an inventory system built up to really make some profits, but at the same time you want to be finding something that's sustainable. So eventually I had to remove my piles from the floor into bins, and then from the bins down in my garage and in my storage area I had to get an actual storage unit. So it's all part of the process, and if you outgrow one inventory system you can move on to the next, but start with something small. Start with maybe some bins, start with whatever's around your house. You don't have to go out and buy bins necessarily right away. You can be hanging stuff in a closet, or you can use a spare bedroom. But you have to understand that you have to get that inventory system in place from day one, and that'll help you to scale and focus on other parts of your business that will generate you more money. So here we go into tip number 7. How are you going to stay motivated? There's plenty of ways to stay motivated. eBay's kind of the same rinse and repeat sort of processes here, so it can be easy to get unmotivated and get burnt out, but you have to find ways to stay motivated. I recommend following other resellers, or joining a Facebook group, or perhaps a mastermind group. These are usually paid, but they really kick your butt into high gear, and they really show you the ropes. They show you what mistakes they made, and they'll help you stay accountable. The main focus is growing your business, getting more listings up, getting more value into your store, finding items that will actually sell well, that are in demand, and that'll really allow you to push your business when you're dealing with other like-minded individuals. If you want, you can join my Facebook group. I'll leave a link for that in the description, and you can connect with individuals there who are resellers, and that'll be great. You guys can hold each other accountable. My next tip for you guys, you're gonna have to find a reason to keep you motivated. And for me, I think that's to be able to travel more, to be able to live my life independently, to be able to do what I want as a business owner and as an individual. And that's kind of my reason for working every day. I want to wake up and I want to be one step closer to financial confidence, financial freedom, whatever you want to call it. I like to use financial confidence because I feel like when the term financial freedom is used, people just think they're going to one day walk away from working and they're just going to be able to quit and run and do whatever they want. I don't think that's really my main goal here. I think I want to have financial confidence to know that whatever happens to me in the next few months or few years, that I'm going to be unbreakable. I'm not going to be able to be set back by any sort of economic crisis or anything, or one small setback in my business, and I'm going to be alright. So that's my motivation. I hope these tips found you well. I want to know where you guys are from. I want to connect with you guys. So let me know where you guys are from in the comments, and I'll reply back to you. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. And yeah, I hope this video found you well. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.